imagination. It is an area which we call the Twilight.
I got love for you, no lie. I give my best, I try. Someday you'll touch the sky. You're an angel, look up, baby. Wipe all your tears away. I know it's been crazy, but keep your head up high.
Foot chase through the projects, dodging foreign objects. Street knowledge, I should've went to college. Odds stacked against me, surviving off instinct. 3 blocks from the precinct. Lil' homie caught a case, others lost family members. Product of his environment, projects produce violence in the middle of the streets, cause that's how we eat. Just a rap about the trap don't mean I ain't about peace.
We must stand together, all together.
Oh, it just went out.
Oh, it did.
It
Oh,
did.
Welcome to the Tampa Bay Breakfast Club. They heard
Just
us
like
talking.
that.
They
Just like
heard
that.
it.
Just like that.
Just like that.
Oh, we get some behind the scenes, under the radar type stuff. So welcome to the Tampa Bay Breakfast Club. I'm your brother John.
And this is Kiana.
This program is being brought to you as part of the New Image Project at the Community Development and Training Center, aka CDAT.
See that?
We'd like to thank y'all for tuning in and helping us to redefine what's cool, because smart is
The new
gangsta.
baby.
And if you don't know,
Now you know.
No. Q, what's good?
It is hump day.
What's on your mind, Wednesday?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so we got some stuff to talk about.
And we got a special guest. in
We
the building.
do.
We got my man. Look, and I say that intentionally. My man.
Uh-huh.
Because that's the emoji I get with
My man. My cousin, little bit cousin.
Okay.
Hey.
Yeah. The Eddie Foundation. Did I say that right?
Edi.
The Eddie Foundation. Mr. Super Sprockets. Mr. Teacher of the Year a few times.
You know,
Black man doing it.
hey man,
Excellent.
Business owner.
Look.
that's right.
Family man.
That's right.
Rafael
That's right.
Robinson, ladies and gentlemen.
New home renovator.
Good morning.
Good
morning.
I say.
Good morning to y'all.
So listen,
Get on, sit down, and shut up.
Yes, sir. Y'all been on that bus.
That's the same thing. Like
Y'all
if you
been
ain't
on that
St.
bus.
Pete, if you ain't
Okay.
St.
That's
Pete,
how you know you from St. Pete.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
if you like,
Yeah.
listen,
When you say get on, sit down,
If you was-
if they don't finish it, then you know they ain't from St.
if
Pete.
they
For
was
real.
in St. Pete and rode the bus anytime in the 80s,
Yes, sir.
Long live Mr. Franklin.
yes.
We need more.
We do.
We need more Mr. Franklin.
Do you
we
think?
absolutely
Oh
do.
no, you know we do, but it's a different climate out there.
Could would Mr. Franklin be able to survive these days? You think
Oh,
that's what you're saying?
Yeah.
I think you would.
Yeah.
Oh, the notification popped up today.
Right on. I feel here. That's it.
That's it. I
Mr.
was trying
Robinson
to,
in the building.
I'm not even gonna lie. Last night I was like trying to play with it.
Okay, so maybe you.
No, I ain't did nothing.
Okay.
But I mean, I can take credit.
Okay.
But it popped up today.
Well, thank you for all that you do,
Wow.
on and off. But yeah, I think what you saying. Mr.
No, I
you
think
saying
he, I
Mr.
think he
Franklin
can. I think he can. I think a lot of the kids they need that structure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And when you got somebody like Mr. Franklin who's gonna provide that structure,
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
they gravitate towards that.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And you see it. I know you
Absolutely.
see it every
Yeah.
day, man. Being in the
Absolutely.
class, and so I don't know how far we can go now because we had a real good off-air conversation.
Oh, yeah.
That was an off-air conversation.
Yeah, we gonna keep it PG.
Yeah, we're gonna keep it
99.
the bird. And so really just wanted to get an update, man. I always appreciate you and what you're doing. But I mean, if people have been in the bubble and they don't know who you are, tell us a little bit about what you do, man.
So I am Rafael Robinson. I am a primary educator. No, I can't even say primary no more.
Okay.
So I'm an educator. I'm part of the 2% of African American males teaching primary or elementary education in the whole country.
Okay.
Right here in the 7th largest school district in the state.
2%.
2%, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
When you think about that, and you think about how many minority students we have, brown and black kids we have in schools, and how many of those kids get an opportunity to see themselves
Yeah.
in the person that's standing in front of them giving the information, it's disheartening.
And you say 2% in the
2%.
United States.
In the whole country.
Right. Not just in Florida.
No.
Yeah.
In the whole country.
Clear.
But
Yeah.
you know, it gets the numbers start to shrink even more when you start breaking it down to,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? But here, you know, in our county, you know, it is such a need,
Yeah.
you know, for minority teachers, black and brown teachers to be standing in front of that classroom and delivering that information to our kids. And I just, you know, it's something that you got to be called to do.
I was going to ask you, what was your instinct? Like, if you grow up saying, I'm going to be a teacher. when I grow up?
Absolutely not. Hey, listen, man, I grew up saying I'm going to the league. Just like,
Okay.
you know,
like most
just like
black males.
right,
Yeah.
you know, and
Yeah.
I think for me, I was blessed to be around a bunch of educators,
Mm.
people who saw the importance of education,
Right.
even outside of the school, but just educating. And you know, I had one of the biggest role models ever,
Yes.
which is my mother.
Oh, man.
We know her as Auntie Debbie.
Oh, right on. Right
But
on.
I watched her, you know, teach year after year, her being a part of breaking barriers right here in Pinellas County Schools. She was the first African American woman to teach North County.
Oh, wow. Wow.
During the time where they just didn't have any black teachers. So, you know, when she got down here and we were able to see, you know, the impact that she had, and you know, she definitely gave me an opportunity to help her.
Yeah.
I think that's when I found
And she gave me structure because she ain't play.
at all.
Listen.
At all. She gave a lot of kids structure.
She gave me-
which is like what I said about Mr. Franklin. It's one of those things where, you know, you would think that, oh man, this lady, she's mean, or she's strict, or she's this. But that's, believe it or not, that's what the kids need,
Yeah.
but that's what they gravitate towards.
But she
because-
cared.
absolutely.
She cared because it's a lot of people who called Auntie Debbie.
That's
But
right.
I will tell you, if you stepped in that house, she did not play.
At all.
Because we got in trouble plenty of nights.
At all.
Y'all
At all.
bad.
At all. Hey, you know.
I would tell you, me and Raphael was angels.
Yeah.
It was Jenny.
That's who it was.
And we're
that's
going to
what it was.
blame it on Jenny.
That's who it was. We love you.
You feel bad.
Yeah. But man, you know, just trying to make an impact right here in our city. It's the need. It's so great.
Yeah.
And you know, I feel like this was my calling.
Yeah.
To teach kids. This was my God-given gift.
And you in year 21 now?
We going in the year 21.
Yes.
Year 21, man.
Yeah.
You know, and out from that, I was able to, you know, not only write a children's book series titled The Super Sprockets, but I was also able to start my nonprofit organization because I saw the need outside of the red tape of schools to allow kids to be able to get the access to the information,
Right.
to get the access to the experts and the experiences. So, you know, I said, you know what, this is what I need to do.
Information and experience.
That's
And
what
don't
it's all
forget,
about.
you got a song.
And
Okay.
you know, as a part of our brand, you know, we are creating educational music.
Okay.
It's coming.
Yeah.
We're bubbling. We're building.
I hear that.
You know what I mean? But it just takes us.
If we
you
learn
know,
anything from Gracie, we know that it's
it's possible.
It's possible.
It's possible.
They hit the
The
Collard Green Festival.
Yes.
They
Yeah.
did- yeah.
Yeah. So my daughter and I were able to hit the stage.
Nice.
Thank you to the Collard Green Festival. We had a wonderful time. You know, we sat at home, we recorded that song, we wrote that song, we recorded it, and
That's
I
dope.
said, "Baby girl, you want to do it?" And she was like, "Well, Daddy, you know, that girl Lele does it." And I'm like, "Okay, well, guess what? Here we go. We got an opportunity." And man, we rocked the stage, man. And it was a wonderful time, man. So shout out to the Collard Green Festival.
Jenny,
Hey.
Jenny
Bring
said,
it.
how am I getting blamed?
We love you.
Because you the oldest. Look.
Right, man.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah.
And just thinking about like that journey, man, and how you, because I mean, you got a lot going on.
Absolutely.
You got your business. How do you balance, just life and managing all of these different enterprises?
Man, it's prayer.
Yes,
but prioritizing. You know what I mean? What's the single most important thing for that day?
Okay.
You know what I mean?
That's right.
Of course, my family.
Lovely. I'm on that right now.
Of course, family is always the most important thing. Yeah. You want to make sure that that's taken care of. But
right
for that day in business, what's the most important thing that I can accomplish today for the business?
Yeah.
For the organization, for the nonprofit, what's the most important thing that I can conquer for that day?
That's right.
And then how much time is that going to take?
Okay.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And then you make the decision from there, and you go with it.
That's right.
You absolutely go with it.
I love that, man. I love it.
The image that you show, like our young Black males, is so important.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not only are you a Black educator, you're a Black man that's married.
Yeah.
And show
right,
because people don't understand how important.
Right. So shout out to my wife Amber. Big part of my life. She helped mentor me.
Okay.
Believe it or not.
I believe it. I'm still being mentored by my wife.
Right. Early on in my career, you know what I mean. She definitely showed me the ropes here in Pinellas County.
Okay. And
in the way of work. Right. You know what I mean? Right. And I had an idea until you really get in the trenches. You really don't know until you really get in the trenches. And she was a person who just immersed herself into that curriculum, immersed herself into the kids, and I saw that. So shout out to Amber.
That's what's up, man. She also been recognized for
science teacher of the year. You know, she was the regional director for FAST, for Florida Association of Science Teachers. She is right now she's working with an organization here in St. Pete at the Clan Bayou.
Okay.
They got some things coming up as well.
I was counseling, I was pushing. So make sure they got some money back there.
Yeah. So she is helping to utilize that money and put it in the right place, and I know they got the right person for it, because
thank you for that reminder. I'll be forgetting stuff. Because I remember going out there, taking the tour, committing to them, and then we followed through with the commitment.
Man,
we got them into a committee.
That's what it's about. That's what it's about
back there. Yeah.
But absolutely, Q, you have to we have to model what we want to see.
Right.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And for our Black and brown boys, they definitely need to see it.
Yeah.
And you of course you get what you get on TV, but when it's real and when it's in front of you, it's a totally different ball game. So I try my best, you know what I'm saying, to be that role model and to be that change that I want to see right here in our community, because I know it can happen. Love is here.
Yeah,
it is. I mean, we're loving city.
Yeah,
honestly, we talk about all that other stuff, but when the rubber hit the road, we got each other back.
For sure.
Now, with that being said, we're gonna have these bills back and take a quick break.
Holla,
because we got to pay some bills.
6-7 minutes after the hour, we're gonna talk about straw. We gotta ask Kiana. We're gonna talk about STEM Saturday, what's happening, and y'all don't go nowhere.
Oh yeah,
we be bike.
Yeah.
President inflamed a combustion.
We must stand together, all together as one. United, we must stand together, fighting for each other till our race is done. United, we must stand together. Under God, we are one. We must fly to the sun every day. Fight for peace, not destroying our dreams.
My brother, my sister, I got love for you, no lie. I give my best, I try. Someday we'll touch the sky. You're an angel, little baby. Wipe all your tears away.
Chase through the projects, dodging foreign objects. Street knowledge, I should've went to college. Odds stacked against me, surviving off instinct. 3 blocks from the precinct. Lil' homie caught a case, others lost family members. Product of his environment, projects produce violence in the middle of the streets, cause that's how we eat. Just a rap about the trap don't mean I ain't about peace.
We must stand together, all together as one. United, we must stand together, fighting for each other till our race is done. United, we must stand together. Under God, we are one. We must fly to the sun every day, fight for peace, not destroying our dreams.
Peace in the streets, love to my brothers, love to my sisters. We all need each other. Children need their mothers and they need their dads. Taking a life that don't make you bad. The fact that you do that is so sad. Pocket watching, plotting on another man's cash. Pick up a book instead of picking up a gun. Increase your knowledge and that'll increase your funds. If everyone succeeds, then crime would decrease and people would live instead of resting in peace. Unity, that's what we need. Stand up and be a positive force in the community.
We are one, we must fly to the sun every day, fight for peace, not destroying our dreams. We must stand together,
Must stand together.
all together as one.
As one people.
United, we must
United,
stand
we shall
together,
rise.
fighting for
And you fight for me
till our race is
till we
done.
see God.
United, we must
United,
stand
we will rise.
together.
Clap with me.
Under
Clap.
God, we
Clap,
are
yes,
one.
sir.
We must
Clap.
fly to the
Clap.
sun.
G beat on the track,
Every
man, and I
day,
mean this,
fight
it's
for
from the
peace,
heart.
not destroying
Back and
our
forth to
dreams.
prison, cause my position in the ghetto is wishing my dreams was in my hand, man, instead of so distant. Violent crimes on my record, showing judges I'm reckless. Yes, they think I'm rich and young, like Young and the Restless. Every time I see a young brother rich in peace, got to be the only time when I watch TV. Cause the struggling and suffering is all I see. Besides muscling and hustling at war with heat, I point the finger at the devil, boy, for taking my peace. Cause the only way to live is to take to the streets. But they rate me as a villain for the killing and dealing. For what? My last resort to make me a living. I don't give a damn, tell them so what? I'm gonna survive even if they threaten me with life. The arms of poverty held tight, making life a fight. But in the sky, we got to unite. Keep your head in the sky.
We must stand together, all together as one. United, we must stand together, fighting for each other till our race is done. United, we must stand together. Under God, we are one. We must fly to the sun every day, fight for peace, not destroying our dreams. We must stand together, all together as one. United, we must stand together.
Was questioned Tuesday during a congressional hearing by Democratic Congressmember Betty McCollum.
What training mission?
And just like that,
We're back.
welcome back,
We're back.
welcome back,
We're back. We're back.
Yeah.
We're back. We're back.
we back,
We're back.
we back,
One time.
we back,
Hey.
we back, we back. Hey, hey, welcome back to
Just
the
like
yeah, that's it. Come on, man. We
Hey.
gotta be us now. If we
All
can't do
day.
that, then we can't do nothing. So welcome back to the Tampa Bay Breakfast Club. I'm your brother John.
And this is Kiana.
This program is being brought to you as part of the New Image Project of the Community Development and Training Center, aka CDAT.
And
we'd like to thank y'all for tuning in, helping us to redefine what's cool, because smart is
the new
gangsta.
Baby.
And if you don't know,
now you know.
Like, share, subscribe, and tell a friend. We got Mr. Rafael Robinson in the building. Yeah, you could do that.
You could do that.
Please send the stars, man.
There's no reason that you cannot do that.
If for some reason you don't know what stars is, let me just tell you really quick. All right, Facebook give you your first 200 for free.
Okay,
I believe they do, because we done had them for a long time, so we haven't had our free stars. So I hope they still do. If they do, give them to us, because we told you about it, right?
That's right.
But if you've already received your free stars, purchase some.
How much
There's
they cost?
nowhere you can go and get anything cheaper. A penny.
1 cent?
1 cent. It gets better.
Okay.
It gets better.
How get better?
The more you buy,
okay,
the cheaper they are.
Less than a penny?
Less than a penny.
Oh,
so if you like something, if it makes you giggle, make you mad, confused, we don't care what emotion it pull.
I'm gonna send myself some. I see that it's a little button right
there.
So
right there. It's a little white button right there. It says send a gift.
It's a star.
You know what?
You hit that and you can do it.
You know what? I'm finna show y'all how it's done now. I'm gonna do a custom. And right now, I'm sending the last little bit of stars I had.
There you go. You just depleted your star.
Yeah.
But
now
you can re-up though.
I can re-up.
Absolutely.
I can definitely re-up.
Absolutely. And you can also go to 99jamstheberg.com. Hit that donate button if you want to donate to Carafesta Radio. We welcome all contributions and appreciate it. This is community radio at its finest.
And if you want to underwrite a segment here, please reach out to us, inbox us, because we do have segments that's underwritten.
That's right.
By the people.
Right on. So, Mr. Robinson.
Yes, sir.
Tell me about STEM Saturday.
Oh man, STEM, we got it coming up.
Yes.
It's back. It was we had to put it on pause, but it's back, man. I'm excited about it. It's something that we've been doing since 2019, and I got a pause right here.
Okay.
And I got to give you your flowers. Shout out to Brother Muhammad CDAT for creating a partnership and a pathway for our community.
Wow.
I called this brother when I had the idea of doing this. This was before,
I like those calls.
Before we actually got it rocking and rolling. I called him with an idea, and this brother, without a doubt, jumped right on board and said, "How can I help? What do I need to do to help? We got to make this thing happen." And he has made it happen. Like I said, we got started in 2019. With bringing STEM Saturday, and it was a spinoff of the Super Sprocket After School Club. And it was so successful, and the kids wanted it so much that my wife and I, shout out to Amber, you know, after putting the money up, we paying for this thing. You know, everybody know we got Robinson's Italian Nights, and if you don't know what we're doing with that money, that's what we're doing with that money. We were going into the schools and trying to give the kids that access to the experts, the experiences, and give them that background information and those opportunities. And a lot of the kids was like, "Well, but my sister can't come," and but are we gonna do it again next week? And I'm like, well, the budget says we're gonna do this.
That's when they start learning financial literacy.
Right then. So, Amber and I said, you know what, man, we probably need to start just doing this on the weekend, which is a big commitment, because we do have a family. But this was a way to not only help the community, but also bring our family into it. My daughters are there. My oldest daughter now, she'll volunteer.
Right.
She'll come in, she'll volunteer, she'll set up, break down, answer questions, register.
Yeah, whatever's needed.
You know what I'm saying? But it gives them an opportunity to see their parents doing something that's going to be so impactful to these strangers, because when these kids come in on a Saturday, I got to say this. Yeah. These kids are coming in on a Saturday and they're learning about science, technology, engineering, and mathematics in a fun and active way. Nothing beats that. Yeah. And it's free.
Yeah.
So, it's free. So on June the 21st, we will be back at Charles Park Rec Center from 11 to 2. We're going to have some fun stations set up for the kids. The biggest thing about STEM Saturday is hands-on, minds-on learning. So that's our big thing. We try to make sure that their hands are moving.
Back, selector.
Hands-on, minds-on learning.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of the kids, they don't get an opportunity to interact with STEM in a way that they understand it.
Right.
So, you know, yes, they understand I play with the phone. I'm on my laptop or I'm gaming, but the amount of technology that's in that is tremendous. And then
you explain that.
Yeah. And then when you think about, well, who are the engineers who are actually making that?
Right.
You know, did you know that's actually a career path that could yield you a very, very comfortable lifestyle?
That's right.
Well, guess what? It starts with you playing that game and you enjoy playing that game. But you know the math and science that goes into creating that game.
Right.
All right. So let's have that conversation.
Okay.
So it's all about giving the kids, once again, access to the experiences, to the experts. Because listen, I know a lot, but I'm not the expert in everything. So I'm able to partner with people like see that and bring in people from the community who are the experts. So if you listen out there and you're a doctor, you're an engineer, you're an architect, you know, get with us because we would love to bring you in to have you talk to the kids about what's really happening in the field.
Right.
It's one thing to see it. It's another thing to actually be involved in it. And we got this going on in our city right now. They're building everything. They're building everything. But do the kids know the people who are actually building the thing?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
And
I don't think you don't understand how great you are.
Yeah.
Like
he know it.
No. I just don't, because like I'm sitting up here like just thinking like in my mind, like you have a 9 to 5, right? Because you're a teacher.
Yeah.
You have this gift to touch the kids. You decided to write a book, so you're an entrepreneur. Right. You did that. Did you and your wife opened up the Robinson Knife, right? And if you listen to it, and it's the power of the partnership and just showing that like you can have it all.
Yes.
And not because we're told like you only can do one or the other. And I'm thinking about like all this stuff and like I might be talking too much, but like your wife always wanted the icy, always. And then when y'all got together, like this is what, like this is
had to make that
so maybe I'm talking too much, but like this is the stuff that's going through my mind. And so this is why I'm like over here smiling and like wow, like I'm not saying like you don't know how great you are.
And Mrs. Robinson is in the chat.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right,
I heard yes,
because this was a dream of hers, and y'all not only did y'all make it happen, y'all made it happen.
You know, I think it's I really once again I think it's about execution. I think it's about we have these big dreams, but a lot of us are afraid to fail. And what we have is a growth mindset. So we're not afraid to fail. We're gonna try. We might fail, but we probably won't.
Right.
That's what makes you so good at what you do. My daughter and I was having this conversation because she's good at her job, and we were just kind of talking through it. And
there go my mama.
And then one of the things that she said was, you know, well, I made a lot of mistakes.
Yeah.
I said, well, you learn from them.
That's where it's at.
And that's what makes you good at what you do because you learn from your mistakes.
That's where it's
but the culture would discourage people from making mistakes.
Absolutely.
But how you going to be great if you don't make mistakes?
So let me tell you, parents, this is why it's so important to pour into your children. And you have to stop the language of you dumb you stupid this, you just like this person. You have to let them know how great they are from the beginning stages, from the time that they is in your womb, you know, because you will see the difference.
Absolutely. You know, I like to tell parents all the time, you your first and best teacher. Yes, I'm the teacher, but I'm the second teacher. You are your child's first and best teacher. What you model for them, they're going to model when they get to school.
Right.
Yes.
So what representation do you want of your last name?
Right.
That's what you gotta really think that when you're sending that child out, because you know, it's good or bad, they're gonna show it.
Right. You know? And it's what you pour in. I was just watching something on TV, probably on TikTok or something, and it was saying that they cursed at the ice and called it names and did all like one ice, and then they did some water, and then they was real positive to another thing of water. Froze it, and they saw the difference on how the water froze, depending
When
on
you
how
put a
you
magnifying glass on it, you can see just how you speak over a
when you
glass of
speak
water.
over the glass of water, there was crystals that developed, and then the one that you cursed over and did like that, it was
like spikes and like just all disjointed.
I can see it. I definitely could see it. And I think I'm a product of that. You know, anybody that knows me know I come from love.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? We didn't have much growing up. My grandmother had 11 kids, and they didn't have much. But they had love. So the way that they poured into us, my ancestors poured into me. You know, I have to be able to lend that to other people. So when you see me out, you know, that's why my spirit is the way it is. That's why you see me speaking to everybody, or giving everybody a high five or a pound or a hug. That's because I want to give that energy. You know, you want to be the change.
I feel it in my body because I've seen you. I've seen you in action, man, and it's so inspiring to watch you work and to see what you're doing. But I know with that comes some challenges. What have been some of the things that you've had to overcome?
Of course, you always are going to have the people that are going to say you can't do it.
Okay.
You're going to have the people who are going to show up and say they can, but then they actually can't.
Okay.
Their intentions are
leaves you know, and it leaves a void, or it leaves a hole. But you know, having that growth mindset and understanding that whatever obstacle comes your way, you know, you can get to the other side of that if you persevere and you push through. That is what drives us to continue to be successful, no matter what. You know, one of the biggest hurdles that we faced was funding. That was the biggest thing. So, you know, like I said, you know, my aunt Cheryl, who's my other partner in this, who is, and she's like one of those hidden figures. In Atlanta, you know, Black woman working for $1 billion engineering firm.
Oh wow.
Designing the conveyor belts that go through Tampa International. She worked on the LAX.
Okay.
You know, she behind the scenes person, somebody you would never know, but has the information, you know, and access to a very vast, a very vast network of people, you know, that have resources that will allow us to do what we do. You have to think outside of the box. It's like, okay, so you don't have the money. What can we do? Well, we got this business.
There you go.
Okay, so we're gonna beat the streets, and we're gonna scoop and score, and then we're gonna take that, and then we're gonna give that fund what we're doing until we're able to meet the right person who believes in our vision and our mission. And people have come. You know, shout out to my mentor, Miss Siplin.
Liz Siplin.
I mean, she was one from the
solutions.
Impact from the very beginning. She saw it. She didn't say 2 words. I'm in.
And I say this because we talked about it a little bit off air. What Liz helped us to do, because that was kind of that team elevator.
Yes, sir.
We started putting it together. Right? So I got the call, and I'm like, okay, here's Liz, here's right, and execution.
That's what it's about.
Really execution. And so we talked about that because, and it's coming up for me a lot now. We have a lot of great ideas, a lot of great plans. But a lot of times we're lacking on execution. And you gave a great analogy I'd like for you maybe to share with the audience.
So one of the things one of my mentors taught me is when you're building something, I'm a football player. I love it. That's shout out to them Rattlers. So I played ball for them, but they looked at business like a football game. They said, listen, Rafael, if you want to be successful, you know, you got to know all of the rules to the game. You know, you're getting into this nonprofit world and you want to make this difference, or, you know, you created this brand and you want this brand to be worldwide, but do you really understand all of the rules of the game? And if you understood all of the rules of the game, you would understand that some of the plays that you're calling, it's just not going to work. Because, you know, you're doing things that are illegal procedure. You're offsides. You know what I'm saying? You're not doing the things that are going to allow you to be successful. So you have to step back, be introspective, look at yourself and say, okay, this is what I saw that I was doing wrong. This is how I can do it right. But more importantly, who's my teammate that's going to help me to get to the end zone?
I want to pause there because when you mentioned being offsides, and what happens if you offsides, they'll throw a flag on the play.
Flag on the play.
Now, the flag don't mean that they hate you.
But that's if you are not educated, you think it's hating.
That's
Yeah.
right.
And the
That's right.
first thing is like, oh, they don't want
They
me.
don't
to
want
eat.
me.
They
Yeah.
don't want.
And that may be true.
However,
However.
but what I've learned is
Yeah.
that there's more people cheering for you
Yeah.
Absolutely.
than not. But you focus on the two
That's right.
that's hating,
That's
and
right.
you give them more power than they have. And because you focus on the two, you make more.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, you absolutely
true.
right. You know,
That's
you
true.
cannot. You got to be positive. You got to be positive. Your mindset got to be positive, and you got to have a unwavering belief in yourself. And if I could say anything today, that's the one thing that I feel like that God gave me and my parents gave me. They put it in. Listen, child,
You can do it.
you are great.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can.
Similar, got
I came from that. Like my mama told me at an early age that I was born to be a great man.
That's right.
And I believed it.
Yeah.
And
you are great.
Even by God's grace. And even when I like went astray and got into the
You can't hear what? Who you can't hear?
When I got into the
That's what she said.
okay, they've been listening all morning. I ain't heard. Okay, but when I got into
Everybody say something. I'm looking at the.
Yes.
Yeah. 1 2 1 2.
Okay, all mics is good. Okay.
And so say wait, I can hear now.
Oh.
I was on mute.
Oh.
Tiffany, you're muted. But just knowing that, even when I did get distracted, I knew my identity. Like I never allowed myself to assume the identity of those who I was around. Like I knew I was different, and they knew I was different because it was like I had that word from my mama early. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
A lot of my close friends, they'll tell you, that he always believed.
I remember just even telling my kids, I have a slew of children, but what they remember, I used to sit them down and like, I don't have no average children in this house. And I'm not saying anything wrong with being average. I just don't have no average child. Right. And when I look at all my kids and what they're doing, there's nothing average about what they're doing. But I told them that at a young age. And then Cheyenne still grown. And I'm telling her, like, I just on the phone, I say, hey, if you get discouraged out there, remember who your mama is.
Right.
I was like, remember who you is. And if you doubt yourself anytime because you're doing something a little new, I say, give me a call because I got you. Because I'm finna tell you, get back in there because you's a champ.
That's
Speak
right.
life. Speak life.
That's right. That's right. And you are a champ. Listen, I noticed. Listen, she's definitely a champion, but it's all about the tree that bear the fruit.
I want to ask you this too, because you work for most of your career. You just made a change, but with primary, and like, what are some of the secrets to your success? In working with smaller children.
So I'm gonna tell you this right now. Just everybody out there listening, y'all got to do this because everybody got a little niece, cousin, brother, sister.
For real.
That's in school right now. We are falling behind at such a rapid pace in reading because a lot of our kids are not having the conversations.
Okay.
Talk to your children.
Okay.
When they are. Yeah. By the time your child is 2, they should have heard 1 million words.
Okay.
1 million.
Yeah.
So if you sticking this phone or this tablet in front of them and telling them to go and never having a conversation with them, you are doing them a disservice. And even if it's not your child, talk to that child. Okay. Mm-hmm. But one of the things that I feel like has allowed me to be successful in the classroom with the kids is creating routine. Okay. This is something that you could do at home with them. It doesn't always have to be the academic.
Yeah.
Let's first start with creating routine.
But that's how I was taught on the idea of spare the rod, spoil the child.
Yeah.
The rod is the support system.
That's right.
When you pour concrete.
That's right.
Right.
That's
what
right.
we think of the rod is just a stick and a whooping. But in the mosque, when they said, they was giving us this interpretation. They said the rod is the discipline.
Yeah.
That's the support. That's the bedtime. That's the curfew. And if you spare the rod,
that's right.
Meaning letting them go to bed when they want to, letting them wake up when they want to, letting them watch what they want to.
Absolutely.
That's what you're doing when you're spoiling the child. But we grew up thinking that was just okay. If you don't whoop them, they're gonna be
and you know what's so important more, we talk about the quality time that you spend with your children. Like these phones, these tablets,
it's a different world.
Honestly, you got to take these away.
Yeah.
You got to take them away. Like you have to take them away for a little while. You got to connect with your children on that one-on-one. And I'm not an educator like that, but I mean, it's so important.
And with the phones, here's the thing: it's information. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And one of the things with the phone is, if it's information, you have to read it, which means you need to be able to read.
Oh.
And a lot of our kids, when I say a lot, I'm talking about only 30% of our kids right here in this city that are 8 years old and younger can read.
You know why? Because it's Siri.
Exactly.
Siri.
Exactly.
Siri, go to Blue's Clues.
That tripped me out.
That's right.
My grandson, I was trying to figure out how he was navigating YouTube. Like, how you get that video?
Easy.
He just talked to
it.
Yeah.
Because we've created a crutch for them.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things like when you're doing the math, we got the calculator now.
Yeah.
Well, before we had to manually know
that's right
how to do these things, and we gotta get back to that. Who can get back to
now
that?
You gotta think.
That's right.
Yeah.
You gotta think, and you gotta think critically, which is why what we're doing in STEM is so important. When we're talking about what's coming in the future, we know that the most job.
Last and the rest of the country falling behind.
When you don't even have a
know where to go to look for the table, go to the door, nothing. It really is.
So we have to do, we as a community and especially as parents and the people, if we say we really love our children, listen, it is nothing wrong with buying the Jordans. Nothing wrong with that. But buy them some apps that's gonna allow them to get some experience with artificial intelligence, with coding, with building things and being able to solve problems. Get them involved in things that are going to allow them to think critically, because if we don't, they would never ever foster that skill, and that is one of the biggest reasons they fall behind.
Okay, let me back up a little bit because you said your mic cutting out a little bit. Okay, so there we go. Thank you, Ms. Teresa. I appreciate that. We got like
say something
in the comment.
Yes.
Pull it up
I think it's good. It's just when he get excited, it'll cut out. I've seen that happen.
Yeah, I ain't mad, y'all. I'm just passionate. Just passionate about it.
It's peaking as they.
Okay, I see it. Yeah, it is peaking back. Okay.
So, but thank you for all of our off-air production. We here with Rafael Robinson.
Yes.
The ADI. I always mess that up.
ADI. And it stands for Achievement Engineering Driven Innovation.
How did you choose the science field? Because in school, two subjects that we didn't really mess with was math and science. How did you decide to go there?
It was the reason we got into STEM was because STEM with math is hard. That's what they say. Sciences, I don't really understand it. But when we start talking about building things like Legos at home, it's like, what is math involved in that?
Okay.
So hold on, I can do math if I can build this structure.
Right.
I can't. So I could take this transformer apart. Well, if I can take this transformer apart, then there's some science in that. So when we were when I was able to look and see, okay, how was the science involved in that?
Yeah.
Or what was the math that was involved in that? Then I said, okay, well, math isn't as hard as you think.
You bring it to everyday living and how you apply it, and not just numbers on the page.
Not just numbers on the page. And one of the biggest things, and this one right here, this one got my wife when we were doing that after school club. There was a little girl who, when we went in, this teacher said, she was failing in math. Her attitude toward if y'all doing anything with math, she's not going to want to participate. And we were building a bridge.
Okay.
And the bridge had to go across 2 desks, and they had to design this bridge. And this little girl did it. And then she measured it. And with measuring, guess what you have to do? You got to be able to count. Yeah. And she did. And guess what? This little girl, she grew. I mean, she was so excited at the fact that she was able to accomplish something dealing with math when all she ever did was fail.
Oh, wow.
That right there, that piece.
Yeah.
That's where it's at.
Yeah.
You know, and that's
the pay that's the real reward
right.
you're doing, because you're changing lives.
We change them day by day by day every time we get an opportunity.
Caller, introduce yourself.
Oh man, it's King Joe. It's not much introduction needed. What?
Go ahead. We'll have an off the air conversation. I was about to say something.
All right. Yes. But I'm listening to what the brother said, and the field that he worked in, as far as dealing with our kids and reading, and I'm looking at the field that I'm working in, as far as re-entering citizens right now. They arrest our young men according to their reading grade level, and they put them in prison. So when they come home from prison, guess what? They still can't read. So you giving these kids these same skills that I am trying to give adults that have came home from prison, and they can't digest the material in the books that the people are throwing in front of them. So, man, I appreciate you, man, and I know this long game because it goes from that childhood to adulthood, and I see you, man.
I appreciate that. You said it. You know, a lot of our kids who are in elementary school, they already, when they get to third grade, that's the grade. When they get to third grade, they're going to be able to tell you what their future is which path they're going to go. And if a child is not reading by third grade, their chances of ever catching up are slim to none. Why? Because when they get to 4th, 5th, and 6th grade, they can't teach a first grade and second grade curriculum. They don't have the time. Your child is only in school for 6.5 hours, believe it or not. The child is at home more than they are in school. It don't feel that way, but the reality of it is that it is. So we, as parents, as community leaders, have to do our part. That means on the weekends, and yes, they can go play Little League. I played Little League. I was out there, Gibbs, Junior Gladiators, St. Pete Little Devils. But guess what? After that game was over, my mama put a book in my hand, and she told me to read on the way home from the game. And the things that I did not understand, I could not read, that was the teachable moment. And we got to give those teachable moments to our kids every single day, especially if you know your child is behind. And it's nothing to be ashamed of. It's something that we got to work towards getting better at. Because if we don't feel like it's important, guess what? They don't feel like it's important. So I commend you in what you're doing, because I know it's even harder when you got an adult, because they're stuck in their ways and they're embarrassed at the fact that they can't do what they know they should be doing. And it's the same thing in schools. A lot of the kids, they get into 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade, and they realize that I'm actually reading on the kindergarten level or 1st grade level. So instead of you asking me to read, I'm going to act out. I'm going to roll underneath the table. I'm going to walk around the classroom. I'm going to make jokes. I'm going to be disrespectful to the teacher, because I know that I can't do what they're asking me to do. Instead of saying, hey, listen, I'm having trouble. Can you help me? You know, and when we get that message to the parents, it's not the teacher picking on him. It's not the principal, you know, always trying to pull this child in because they're in trouble. No, it's really we trying to find out what's the root cause of the issue. You know, and when we find out, if the root cause is this child can't read and they mad, and I would be mad too. We all would be mad because when you can't read, you can't do the math. How you gonna read a word problem? You can't read. How you gonna do the science? They got to take a science and say, how you gonna write? They have a writing assessment where they're talking about elaboration. They're talking about writing conventions. They're talking about all of these things, but you can't read. So what do you do all day? You cause trouble. You know, you deflect.
Thank you for that, King Jack. We appreciate you, man.
Thank you.
And then also just you mentioned a great point. Just if we get another caller, but and then thinking about what you just said, how once you identify that this is a challenge where the student is having trouble reading, what type of interventions do you have? Do you recommend?
Listen, so the Pinellas County Schools has adopted this new, it's not new, but a phonics intervention is called UFly. And I've seen so much success with this one intervention that we're using with our kids in our classroom. We're talking basically about a new way of teaching phonics. That's where it all begins. It all begins with phonics. You know, if you got a child that cannot read, let's start with the phonics. Let's start with the letter and the letter sound. So UFly is a great intervention out there.
Simple thing.
So simple. Yeah. So simple.
Usually it is the simple fix, but you gotta ask for it.
That's right.
And no way to
no way to go. And listen, parents, you gotta advocate for your children. If you feel something is wrong, go to that teacher and say, hey, my baby is struggling. He can't read or she can't read. What can you send home some interventions with me? There are so many resources. We are in the information age, everybody. There's no reason why a child should be going with that. If you have a question, ask Google. Right. Google gonna give you the answer. But go to that teacher. And we have reports now. If your child is in Pinellas County schools, we have reports now that will break it down to the exact skill and the level in which your child is learning. There is no excuse.
Yeah.
I don't know what my child don't know. Or I don't know what I should be teaching them. Well, go ask for the report. Right. Because the report will explain to you very explicitly what your child is struggling with. And from that, you take that and you find the resource that is specific to that one skill that child might be struggling with. But I'm gonna tell you, it starts with phonics. Then we get into phonemic awareness. Okay. Then we get into fluency. Then we get into comprehension. Yes, comprehension is important, but if the child if they're spending all their time going, they don't understand the question that you finna ask them when you get done reading that sentence. Right. They got to get that first.
Because now that you say that, it's really making me think about, like, if you got to think about it from this perspective. If you're learning a new language, absolutely, right? And so you hearing these words, but you can't read them and name them. That's right. And so what you're doing is being able to learn this language, because, like, I've been trying to learn Spanish for 20 years, and I just can't seem to pull it off. But you have to immerse yourself in it, understanding the sounds, the vowel sounds, and then being able to put that together. The rules, and that's what that intervention that I mentioned, UFly, that's what it does. It teaches kids the rules to the game. Okay. Once you know the rules, then you know how to play the game. But you can also do things as simple. And this is something that we did with our babies. When you're in the car, get you some tape, go right there to the Dollar Tree, get all 120 sight words. Put 2 of them in the car. Okay. Put 2 of them on the front door. Put 2 of them on the bedroom door. Mm-hmm. Put 1 on the mirror in the bathroom. Put 1 on the refrigerator. Put 1 on the garage door. Every single time that child walked by that word, you ask them what that word is.
And parents, let me say this:
sight words for real.
That's right.
Sight words for parents who can't read. It is, but like for parents who are struggling, these are ways that you can help yourself and not even telling on yourself. Because a lot of times you're embarrassed that you can't do it. But if you start at the basics with your child and putting it on there, and Google will tell you what those sight words say. Because it would, like, if you, I'm giving you the little cheat code, because a lot of people are embarrassed about this, because you said, like, if the kids can't read, usually there's a gap with the parents too. Absolutely. Hold on. So if you want to get this done where it's not embarrassed, like you not at that stage that you want to go act, you go get the sight words and you start doing the sight words with your children. That's right. And you will see that your vocabulary and your understanding will then increase as well. Caller, introduce yourself.
I'm like, yeah. Hey,
you.
Hey, how y'all doing? Well, one of the things that I noticed, like with the kids, I do deal with some kids in my own room, man. When your kid is learning, make them take their headphones off. They would still do that computer-based learning, but if you can't hear the words, you don't enunciate and sound out the words properly. Then by the time when you hear yourself trying to read it, it don't come out right, or it ain't right, because you don't actually hear yourself what you're saying. Absolutely. Because all you're doing is on the screen, clicking the button, clicking the button, clicking the button. And a lot of times, I ain't saying this teacher, but a lot of these teachers, hey man, they ain't getting paid enough to kill. So
yeah, I will say that, pay is money is like oxygen. We all need it, and it is important. And like I said in the beginning, this was something for me that I was called to do. Now, I will be honest and transparent with you. I do believe what you're saying. I don't believe that every person that's in that classroom, heart is actually in it. I don't believe that. And you can just tell from the results. It's not even something that we making up. These are facts. Speculate. Yeah. Right.
I'm hanging up.
But we get an opportunity for the ones that are there that do care. And there are a lot of them that actually care about your child. And a lot of times, you know, I want to say this too, parents, you're doing yourself a disservice when you go in there hostile. Okay. That teacher holds the keys to your child's success. It's a team effort. It's not an I. It's not that teacher doing that thing and I'm doing my thing. No, it's we are working together. There's no I in team. So you have to have the mindset of we got 180 days to get my child from this point to this point. I want to grow my child, and all kids grow at different levels. I got to say that too. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know, my child might come in and grow 100 points. Yours might come in and grow 30. Nothing is wrong with your child. That's just the rate at which they're growing. Mm-hmm. But if I come in there every time angry, upset, you know, why my child got this or why my child got that, instead of asking how did my child get this grade, or how did my child end up in this group, then I'm asking the wrong question. The question ain't why, is how. Right. You know, and then what can I do? What can I do as this parent to help my child to be more successful? One of the things you could do is get them in STEM Saturday. That's right. Get them around some people that actually are going to love on them and care about them and want them to be successful. Give them the experiences. The kids that I see that are thriving in my classroom over these last 21 years are the kids that come with background information, the kids that have the experiences that they're reading about and that they're interacting with inside of the curriculum. You don't know about building a bridge unless you've been over one. We got kids right here in St. Pete that have never been over the bridge.
Never been in Tampa.
We got kids, you don't know about erosion unless you've been to the beach. Yeah. We got kids right here in St. Pete that have never been to the beach.
And people pay to come to our beaches. We got the number one beach in the world.
So we have to be,
but you lead the kids.
That's right. We have to be in the mindset of, instead of buying my kids some Jordan, I'm going to take my kid on this experience, to give them this experience, because this experience that they're getting is going to allow them to have a little background information when they get in that classroom and they're reading those stories about some of the things that they're talking about. I'll give you the perfect example. We had a hurricane. What did that hurricane knock down downtown? That crane.
Yeah. Oh, it did.
It was all over the world. Everybody saw that crane, right? Yeah. Do you know how many kids didn't know what that was? Why? Yeah. How you don't know what a crane is, and we got one 0.5 miles away down the street? Yeah. How do you not know who operates that crane, and you see them doing it every single day? You know how? Yeah. Because we don't ask the question. Right. You want to look at it and say, you know what that is? Do you know what that is? Yeah. And do you know why they're using it? And do you know how much it costs? And do you know who operates that? Yeah. We got to start asking the questions. And then the questions are going to lead to something that is beyond our wildest imagination. You know, your child going to be operating that crane. When they find out they can do it.
You got to give them you have to give them that key.
Got to give it to them.
To open those doors.
Got to give it to them. Access to information and experts is what is going to help us to close this achievement gap.
Give me some reality on because we hear it a lot, right? We was actually talking about it earlier this week about parents and how they show up in these spaces. How do you break down that wall? Because, and I say it like this, because one of the things that when we talk about it, you got to remember a lot of the parents went to these same schools. And so when they were talking about the failure factory, like they passed a lot, they pushed a lot of us through.
They did.
And so now when it's your turn to work with your child, we really don't have the skills. And so you come in, you get offended, but it's really like your guilt.
That's right.
How do you break through, and how have you been able to like establish a relationship with a parent to get them to have that aha moment where they realize their responsibility and their contribution?
I think you just think about you as a parent. When you know you got somebody who care about your child, okay, you're willing to be a little bit more vulnerable with them. I got parents that have come in and said, hey, look, Mr. Robinson, look, this was going on. This was really going on. And the way that you do that is through relationship building. They got to first know that you actually care about the child. Yeah. You know, so to my teachers that are out there,
stats and numbers.
Oh yeah, no.
Reading.
No. Yeah. Wait, let's put that away.
Yeah.
How's this baby doing?
Yeah.
What are we doing? What do you see at home with him? Does he break down and cry and run and hide and fight you every single time that it's time for you to do some work with him? Why is that happening?
Yeah.
You know, because there a lot of these kids come with different traumas.
Okay.
You know what I'm
There we
saying?
go.
In this, and you know, we're in the age of mental health.
Yeah.
A lot of these kids have some mental health issues that we got to address before we teach them to learn how to read.
Right.
I can't teach you to learn how to read if you hungry and you sleepy and you upset and you mad because your mama at work and you got to go to grandmama's house and she's, you know, she's on her medication and she nodding off and you just there and you trying to raise your siblings, but you don't care about reading.
You don't got no system. You don't got no structure.
It's no routine. You're raising yourself.
Yeah.
And this is, sadly, this is a lot of what we're seeing in the classrooms. But as a teacher, when I see that, okay, now how can I immerse myself in this situation to help this child navigate this first? And when parents see that wall begins to come down. Well, you know, Mr. Robinson, I'm gonna be honest with you. I can't read that. Okay, you can't. No, but guess what? We got some resources right here in our community that can help you.
Right.
But if you never said that to me, then how can I help you?
And but you created a safe space for somebody else. Because if I don't think you like my child,
that's right. You definitely like me.
I ain't finna tell you I can't read because you ain't finna use that
Against
to weaponize my, you know, to go in
yeah.
and do it. So you know, it has to be a safe space, and then that's why important for that we do get more Black and brown teachers.
There you go.
Right, more men teachers out there in this field, because boys feel something. You know, you connect to other men.
Listen, the statistics already show especially with boys that have role models are more likely to be successful than boys that don't. Yeah. That's just it. And if their only role model is what they see on TV and TikTok, it's never going to work out for them in the end. They have to see it in real life. They got to know that I can make 6 figures working a real 9-to-5 job. I just got to know which 9-to-5 job to work.
Right.
I can learn this skill and drive these trucks and make 6 figures if I go to school and I understand how to read the test and comprehend the test and get out there and apply what I've learned in the real world. I gotta know that and I gotta see that. But when the kids don't see that, that was part of the reason why I got into the classroom.
Yeah.
I wanted to be what I was looking for when I was a little boy.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I had one Black teacher.
Let me ask you this.
And people gonna. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I just wanted to ask you this because you just kind of hit on it when you said you wanted to be what you wanted to see. What would be if you had to, you know, after going into 21 years now, if there was, you know, a conversation with 20, with you 20 years ago,
absolutely,
what would that conversation be like? What would the encouragement be?
I thought about this and honestly, when I with teaching, I have 18. I typically have 18 to 23 kids in a classroom.
Okay,
and those are the kids that I really can affect and impact. But through my organization, through the EDI Foundation, I'm able to impact everybody.
Yeah.
So if I could go back, I would say, listen, you need to do this day one.
Okay.
You need to do this day one. You need to start this foundation today.
Yeah.
And let's look 20 years down the road at how many kids you would have been able to impact that are outside of the confines of this school. Because the school that I'm at, you know, it's a magnet school. You got to apply to get in. And, you know, everybody that live 0.5 miles away from the school don't even get an opportunity to even go to the school. Right. So you working with kids that are not even in your own community. You know what I'm saying? And the kids that are here are missing out on this magnificent education.
Right.
And what can we do to solve that problem? Well, you start this organization where you can reach all kids.
And see, you're the one person that they will see, because again, how many other black male teachers at your school? None. So you're that one black person. Absolutely. That the 23, and so you have 18 to 23 kids. How many of them are black boys in your class?
Probably got 11.
11. So you're probably the one person, the one black teacher, if it's another one, that they will see throughout the whole.
Now I'm gonna flip this on you. Yes, we're talking about our black and brown kids, right? What about our white kids?
Yeah.
Some of these kids have never had an interaction with a black person.
This is true.
Wow.
The only interaction
Don't
that
even
they've
think
ever
about
had
it.
with a black person is what they see on TV.
Okay.
So when they come into that classroom
Yeah.
and they meet me, all of the stereotype, all of the preconceived notion of what a black person is and how they carry themselves,
Powerful.
That is. Because you don't think about it.
changes.
Because when they grow up, you see them 20 years later.
You see them 20 years
Yeah.
later, but now these are the same people who are sitting in the boardroom
Mm-hmm.
making decisions on your behalf.
Right.
Why? Because we're not in the boardroom.
That's true.
So
And if they never met you, they don't know. They only seeing what they said.
that's it. That's it. So what are we doing? Oh, are we really setting our kids up for success when we're putting them in things where they're not around people that don't look like them, don't sound like them? I would say we got to do a better job of putting our kids and giving them experiences where they're not always the majority.
Yeah.
Sometimes they need to be the minority.
Yeah.
It's okay to be the president. It's okay.
How other
Listen.
people show up.
So
Exactly. And how they relate to you.
And how they relate to you. You know, because it's a real thing. You listen, I got so many kids that are like, they'll come to me.
Mm-hmm.
Not even my student. Mr. Robinson, that white lady don't like me.
Mm.
And I'm like, no, actually, that white lady loves you.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Let me show you how that white lady loves you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did she give you extra assignment? Did she give you a handful of snack when you was walking in? Did she allow you to put your head down and take a nap because she knew you was tired? Did she do that?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Okay. Well, then how that white lady don't like you?
Yeah. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? But you felt comfortable coming and telling me that. You didn't feel comfortable saying that to her.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So once again, it's about providing that safe space for them.
Oh,
but we don't have enough safe spaces in our schools because why? We're not there.
And see, your perception is your reality. And unless
100%.
somebody else is able to give you a different perception, you're going to always walk with that narrative.
And that's the dominant narrative. You got to think about society. We look at it in a lot of the problems that we face is the result of decisions that was made by white people.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's real. That's
the
real.
reality.
And so if you seeing that, you experiencing that, your daddy just got home and the reason he was gone because white folks.
It was the reason.
You carrying that into, and this is not saying right or wrong. We're just talking reality here,
Right.
and perception and perspective.
That's right.
And so even the culture of the household, like you just really sent my antennas up.
Yeah.
Just when you talked about how they see you and how white people interact with you and
That's
white
right.
students engage with you.
Yeah, you are
Yeah,
you are that first experience. So you want to. I know me. I want to make sure that your first experience with my community and with my culture, is a positive one. Is one that's going to leave a lasting effect on you. You know what I'm saying? And we have, and I'm gonna be honest with you. Like I said before, I'm not saying this is all teachers.
Yeah.
Nothing is a blanket statement.
That's right.
No statements that I'm making a blanket.
We don't subscribe to all.
We don't subscribe to all.
And these are not the views of Pinellas County Schools.
Okay.
I want to put that out.
The views expressed.
The views that are being expressed are from me and me only.
Yeah.
But we have to make sure that we understand who our child has as the person standing in front of them and the people that are around them. And once again, we got to work towards trying to create that team. Yes, I do know that there's some bad apples.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna tell you something else. It's some bad apples that look like you and me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we're not gonna talk about them.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about the other ones. We're not gonna talk about the bad apples that look like you and I.
Yeah.
That smile in your face and you think your child is in a safe place, but they really not.
Them backstabbers.
So man, we got 6 minutes to go.
Yeah,
Oh my goodness.
But STEM Saturday.
Yes,
Saturday,
June 21st.
Yeah, 11 to 2 at Childs Park. I'll say it again, Childs Park.
Yes.
4301 13th Avenue South. And what can people expect when they walk? So what
When you walk in the STEM Saturday, it's going to be full of energy that your child is going to get a hands-on, minds-on opportunity. We got some stations set up for them to do things like Vex robotics. We're going to have Dash and Dot. We have some programming robots that the kids will program. The kids are going to actually build a little house, and we're going to learn a little bit about civil engineering and the things that go into a house structure. Because like I said, there's so much building going on around in our city right now. We're gonna touch on that. We're gonna do some team building activities. They'll be playing some games. They're gonna spend a lot of energy in 2 hours. I'm gonna feed them and I'm gonna send them home.
So if you're out running around doing your Saturday Juneteenth weekend thing, you want to take the children somewhere,
that's right.
Bring them over to Child's Park, and they're gonna be tired when you pick them up.
That's right. That's our goal.
Man,
that's our goal.
I love it. And hands-on,
minds-on learning.
I love it.
I love it. So look, we baited y'all in with a headline that said we were gonna talk about Straw. Did you watch it?
I did. I told you I was gonna watch it. I watched it.
Movie Straw. We don't really have time to talk about it now because we picking priorities, y'all. Like, do y'all want to hear us talk about Straw and Taraji and all of this? You know, good, bad, and different. We'll do that, but we wanted to really create and shine a spotlight on Rafael, the work that he's doing, and the Edi Foundation, because again, that's the whole point of the Tampa Bay Breakfast Club and the New Image Project. We want to redefine what's cool. And this is like the coolest thing ever. We say it every show we come on. Smart is the new gangster. Well, this is the most gangster thing that you can ever see. You know,
it is like, I mean, the whole package.
Yeah,
the whole package. I know y'all sick of me because y'all know I love Black love, and y'all know because the foundation of the family is so important, and it shaped everything else that goes on. And just to see, like, you know, him and his wife, we talk about power couples, but they out here doing it together. They tag teaming it, like they're like, oh, you in, oh, we in together. Like and you see that, and it's amazing, and you see the impact that you are having on this community and the kids, and we appreciate it.
For sure.
Absolutely. Y'all keep the conversation going. There's a lot of things happening in the chat. We definitely appreciate
the
that.
chat is going crazy.
The chat is going crazy.
I'm seeing people. I ain't seen LA in for a while. My auntie Mita in. I see Marche Brown in, Michelle.
Hey, listen, that's the village.
Yeah.
That's the village. Love y'all.
And it's just amazing again. So there's a lot happening this weekend. Y'all go back. We talked about it. And also during the break, we had the promo reel so that you can find out about it. I just want to, again, give a big ups and lots of thanks to Rakisha Fuller. We have her interview that will be showing later today, talking about 613, the event that's coming up, dealing with youth and mental health and suicide prevention. You got Juneteenth is like going to be all over the place. Oh, we got Super Dave is doing the Juneteenth breakdance show. That's happening on June 19th. Yeah, you heard me. It's from 4 to 10 on the Deuces. So y'all make sure y'all go to the page.
Friday the 13th coming up. We got Urban Inc. will be giving $31 tattoos.
Okay.
You got Urban Drinkery. We'll be having a coffee concert with Jack Fletcher. It's so much going on. Like, listen, our city be popping.
Yeah,
going up.
Yeah. We be like,
we that.
Yeah, we that. So if there was a final thought or final message, it was one of them. Oh, I forgot to say this thing. What would your final thoughts be?
My final thoughts would be this. Listen, get out, advocate for your kids. Give your kids those experiences. Be the change that you want to see in the community. And the one thing that I live by is leave it better than you found it. Whatever it is. Whatever it is.
But he took your final thought. You got to come up with something different.
That's okay, but go with yours, Ryan.
Man, look, it's more that needs to be done than needs to be said. And we're watching the doers, do. And so I appreciate that. If you want to be a doer, jump in. There's many ways that you can help. You don't have to be out front. You can be behind the scenes. There's a lot of ways that you can support. If you have an idea about what you think needs to be done, that's God showing you something. And it's something that he wants you to do, a responsibility he wants you to accept. So accept that responsibility. Find people who have like minds, get with them, don't cause no problems for them, and support the work that's being done.
And Mitchell services tonight at Urban Drinkery again from 5:30 to 9:30 tonight. So it's so much going on. Listen, get your grown up on, right? And then on Saturday, still get your grown up on. Send your kids over there to STEM Saturdays.
That's the most grown up thing you can do.
Right. Yeah, this responsibility at its finest. Okay, and then we're gonna stay tuned for Sister Hughes.
Make you lose your shoes and shout all around the house. This has been the Tampa Bay Breakfast Club. I'm your brother John,
and this is Kiana.
And we out. Believe and do good.
Yeah.